driver leader is basically responsible for a number of trucks and the drivers assigned to them. And they're responsible for on-time pickup and deliveries, the management of the truck, making sure the services are done on it when it needs to have services. But most importantly, they're there to take care of the driver and the driver's needs. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean whatever the driver wants. It's their job to make sure the driver is doing their job properly. So whether it's running enough miles to pay for the truck, or whether it's trying to get the guy home on time because the guy's birthday, his wife's anniversary, whatever the issue, it's their job to manage all that with the truck. And to do that, they have to work with the driver. The driver has to understand that they just can't call up and say, hey, I want to be home in 2 days, and that's going to happen. That's not reality in this business, because it doesn't work like an airline where you call a customer and say, hey, I want to load from point A to point B, and that happens. You have to sometimes go the other direction to get home. So the driver manager has to coordinate that, and the drivers have to work with the driver to work with the planners to find the freight to make that happen. Example of that is I had a guy one time needed to get home for some reason. He was in Chicago, and we're in Tucson, so he needs to get here. He was in Chicago, and to get him home, it was faster to send him to Atlanta than it was to send him anywhere else. So some guys think that, well, I'm in Chicago, I want to go to Arizona, so they think that the best thing to do is just not work with the loads unless they head this direction. That just costs a guy money. They're going to end up sitting, they're going to end up taking longer to get home than anything. The best thing to do is just work with your driver manager and trust that their job and their focus should be the same as the drivers. And that's to get them miles so they make money, to make sure they're out the proper amount of time, and to get them home on time. Do you always get home on time? No. That's not reality in this business, but for the most part, that's what they do.
So a large part of what we do is making sure that we're teaching you how to run in the environment that you're in during the different times of years and just current market situations, to make sure that you're actually getting the miles to put money on that check and making sure that check gets to you.
I'm getting ready to send over a message for a truck that we got a VTEC on, and our virtual techs tell us what's wrong with our truck. So they already told me what cylinder is misfiring, what needs to be fixed on it, and hopefully it's a quick fix.
One of the things, as far as a lot of other places I've known, is just being able to deal with your driver leader on a more personal level, one-on-one. They might want to keep you out there on the road, and we're just going to talk to you, keeping you in contact. If you got issues, personal issues, you got to be home on time. We'll get, more times than not, we'll go out of the way just to make sure you get in. We've done it in the past. I mean, we had people coming in for emergencies,
TJ Maxx level, or what's his face?
parking them somewhere out of state and having them get on a plane to get back, and then flying them back to get back in the truck. But it's kind of just a working relationship.
I got a DSW pin for you. How about that?
How about that?
Catch me outside.
Dispatch trucks, talk to drivers, talk to planners. Make people money.
Setting up the driver's trips for the next day. So I'm making sure that they have pre-plans and loads for tomorrow.
So basically this is the board that we use to have a visual to track trucks, drivers, whose fleet they're on, home times, just so we have a visual aid as well besides the computer.
You're not only working with just the driver as a driver leader, you have to deal with planners that are in different states and different cities. They're not here. We can't walk over and say, hey Bob, can this guy have this or that? We have to call them, we have to message them. they have their own set of problems. Planners may have too many trucks in an area and not enough freight. They may have too much freight and not enough trucks. Then they have customers that are more critical than others. So if you have an extremely hot customer, it may be a shorter load than the more preferred longer load, but the longer load is not as critical as the shorter load. And the customer's got to come first.